Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello and welcome to another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come and share with us in this podcast, Botswana's premier podcast for business and entrepreneurship. We're so proud of 13,000 that we just hit today, actually. 13,000 subscribers. So it's wonderful. And please, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And of course, strike that notification bell as well. My guest today is going to talk about all things NFT. He's from NFT Africa, non-fungible tokens. I believe that's what they are.
Yes.
We're going to learn more about this technology. He happens to be someone who's in our building here at Mogobe Plaza. So we're proud to have such a tenant. We do trust they are extending awareness in the digital space. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. The full name is Phakama Sibanda, correct?
Yes, Phakama Sibanda.
Okay.
Yes.
Just share with the viewers your background and tell us about NFT Africa.
Okay. NFT Africa is my base company, being DAO Tech, which is a data and web development company. So NFT Africa was a transition and a division of DAO Tech, where we kind of more concentrated on the blockchain technology and NFT specifically. Yes.
Okay. All right. I suppose you could start off by telling us what you did academically. Share a little bit of your background in that regard. Yeah.
I grew up in Zimbabwe. My parents are farmers, and my dad's an educator. And then from there, I did my high school at Christian Brothers College. And then after that, I transitioned to South Africa to do further tertiary studies. I initially started with BCom, and I found it rather not appealing. I changed and moved to a different university, Forte, and I did a BCom in information systems. Yes. So
that one was BCom accounting?
Yes. No, it was just general.
General, okay.
Yes, it was BCom general. And then I went and did a BCom information systems. I had a few challenges in the education system. I'm a bit dyslexic, so I had a bit of a slow learning kind of curve, but I was
Joined the club. Damon Jones,
yes.
Richard Branson, who else?
Yeah.
Famous entrepreneurs who are dyslexic.
Yes.
Apparently it can be an advantage in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, definitely. I seem to have a photographic memory because of that, so it does help in coding and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it's a great thing. So I went up to third year and I dropped out of my information systems. And had to go back home, where I then started a print company. So I was doing printing, banners and all sorts of things. This company was called Illusions. So yes, Illusions. We did very well. The Zoom economy was using US dollars at the time. So it was kind of a boom for us.
I thought it still is.
Well, it kind of changed over time.
What is it using?
It's a multi-currency economy at the moment. We use rands, US dollars, pulas. I mean, whatever's available. But we're based, well, not as much, but but we're based in
mainly pula and rand.
Yes,
and US dollars.
At US dollars, yes, and then we do have the Zim dollar, which is pegged to the US dollar at an auction rate. So sometimes it fluctuates. I think this kind of environment got me very interested in economics and other technologies which could help leverage such a hyperinflation thing. So we were mostly interested in Bitcoin, I think, which came out in 28 somewhere there. But I jumped
2008.
2008. Sorry. So I jumped on it around maybe 2011 while I was coming from varsity on holiday and stuff. I would be coming from South Africa, going back to Zimbabwe, and I would be able to gauge the situation. And I thought this was kind of a technology which was new, and I should try and experiment. So I got into it. Initially, I think I got burnt because I jumped into a scam. And
what happened?
There was this Bitcoin club. I had asked my girlfriend at the time to buy into, because she was in Botswana and I was in Zim. I could not purchase, so I asked her to purchase, and she ended up actually ending.
Why couldn't you purchase from them?
The banking system was not allowing it. Yes, at the time, we didn't have Visas and Mastercards. They were not allowed. So I had asked her to do, and we kind of got burnt. Of I think it was a Bitcoin club or whatever.
Lost a lot of money.
It was not too much, but I think for her it was very. It put her off Bitcoin altogether and virtual currencies. So I kind of carried on in the background, and I've always been interested in virtual currencies and stuff like that, until we got to COVID, which gave us more time to trade. So I've been an avid trader of stocks, the JSP 500.
Stocks or crypto?
No, stocks in general. Like I know the companies. I watch Bloomberg, CNBC, and those were really my channels of every day. Like, that's, instead of watching sports, that's what I would watch. And I got very candid at doing, there was a platform that was allowing people to jump on. I think it's eToro.
eToro.
Yes, eToro. And trade virtually with virtual cash. And I was able to like triple the virtual cash. And then I'm thinking, after this, I was ready to try it for real.
Maybe the skills from dyslexia came in handy.
Yes, definitely.
A little bit.
Yeah.
The memory.
Yes. So I've been able
photographic
to,
memory.
Yes, I've been able to pick and kind of see trends and understanding companies themselves. I was able to pick good companies which were able to do well, like, Microsoft, Nvidia. At the time, COVID, it was Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and a whole bunch of other companies. So in that trend, cryptocurrency started to pop up also on eToro. And it was firstly Bitcoin, and then came Ethereum, and then
Bitcoin had been around for a while.
Yes,
10 years or so.
Yes, definitely. And it had been fluctuating. I mean, it would go up and then down, up and down. But during COVID, it really spiked. I think this was a case of people being at home, having extra income, and people being able to try and, people, I think we thought the world was ending. So, what I noticed was all market prices at the time went down. And that's when I decided to put in the little sense I had to get in the market. So fortunately for us, and unfortunately for the COVID guys, it was a great bull market during 2000 and 2021.
It's around the time that Elon Musk quadrupled his net worth or something.
Yes.
There's something remarkable about 12 months. And Bitcoin did very well, but it has since gone down, hasn't it?
Yes. From that, I think because the US had been pumping a lot of money, after COVID, there was a real dry spell. There was also regulation which came in, because this was an unregulated
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's just take it a step at a time. People these days, when you talk crypto, they think in terms of scams and some people, the average person. So, and you say you were scammed. What lessons do you learn from that, and how do we guard against being scammed in this space?
I think it's like any other new space. You need to do your research, and you need to also not be prone to these get rich quick kind of platforms. So like any other investment, you've got to do your due diligence, know your company, know what you're doing, and invest wisely, and have a risk kind of appetite to know that this kind of thing might go down. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I would tell people to do their research. Never allow anyone to trade for you. I think that's been the biggest. People I guess are lazy. They'll be like, okay, this guy's going to double my money. I'll give him 2,000 and.
So always trade directly
Yes,
yourself.
I believe you should trade on the platform yourself after you've tested it and made sure you.
But people who tend to believe that they are not experienced or trained well enough.
I would think if you are well vested in being able to use a mobile app to withdraw your money from FNB or any of these banks, then you are able to trade your own crypto. Yes, I think it's just an education thing to say, how does this work? And once you have that platform, you can really trade yourself. Yes.
Now, NFT Africa, when was that formed, and what is the essential mandate of the company?
Okay. NFT Africa, I then quickly realized that there was a shift to a different ecosystem, I would say, of the internet. We had been used to what we call Web 1, which is your email and password. That is what we define as Web 1. And we had then transitioned to Web 2, which was your social media, where you log into whatever it is using Google or Twitter and so on and so on. So with Web 3, which is the current NFT space where it exists, we log in using wallet addresses. These wallet addresses exist as an application or as a hard wallet or as a piece of paper. It's just really a kind of a pin or a secure way of holding these digital assets. So they are not held in the wallet per se. The wallet is just a window into the blockchain ecosystem.
Yeah, that's the part you have to really educate us, because when you talk about a wallet, are you talking about Binance? What is a wallet?
Well, a wallet.
I've seen Binance somewhere.
Yes,
in your office. I'm not sure whether I saw it in your office.
So Binance is a centralized exchange, if I want to put it, and they will hold your wallet as custodians. You will have access to your wallet using either your password and email, but your actual wallet is stored on the platform. So it would be like FNB holding your actual account with the money in it, and you just have the PIN or the card to access it. So you have various ways to access it. You can use your card or you can use a PIN. So in this case, your wallet, your seed phrase, which is your secret, is the way to access your wallet, and your wallet address has a private key in it, which is
2 or 3 levels of authentication, correct?
Yes. So you can have you can protect it in various ways. You can have two-phase authentication, where you log in and then they send you an SMS for a PIN and so on and so on. So everyone has done this. It's the same as your bank account. How you would secure your PIN is how you would secure your wallet address. I mean, your wallet seed phrase. Yes.
We've seen one crypto thing, was it late last year, collapse spectacularly. What were the circumstances there, and how do you guard against that happening to you?
Okay, I think there were several collapses. The recent one was FTX. I think that's the one you're talking about.
Yes, FTX.
Yes, FTX was an ecosystem. It was not only an exchange.
A few celebrities were embarrassed.
Yes, definitely. I think what we've been advocating as NFT is to be decentralized. where you are custodian of your own assets using either a cold wallet or a decentralized wallet, which is not on any platform like Binance or FTX or Coinbase. These are exchanges who hold your assets.
Because if these exchanges collapse, they collapse with your money.
Yes, they collapse with your assets. So in this case, if you were trading through FTX and you held your assets on a cold wallet or on what I would call a decentralized, there are plenty. I would mention one called MetaMask. MetaMask is a decentralized wallet. Whether FTX collapsed, you would still have your digital assets. The FTX coin, which also collapsed with it, if you were holding that, unfortunately would have gone down. Yeah. But you would still have access and be able to trade it.
And using that one as an example, what recourse do we have? Where is the money gone? Is there anything for the investor?
I believe with crypto, the misconception is the money is gone. I have been investigating and following the FTX, and they have been able to recover up to $8 billion of missing funds.
8 billion out of
about 10 to 12. So they do know.
Where were they sitting?
They were sitting in various wallet addresses on their ecosystem. I think with FTX it was poorly governed. They didn't have oversight, and it was an example of what can happen to a very good idea, which a lot of people throw money at, and there's no oversight.
So in the case of FTX, some depositors will get the money back.
I believe eventually they will. Yes.
It's a long
process, because those bitcoins and those assets still exist on either AWS's platform, because we have a misconception that crypto does not exist on the internet infrastructure, but it does. So whatever platform they were using is still existing, and we can recover that. So I believe that's what they're investigating right now, to try and recover people's funds.
Yeah, I want to take you back to my original questions. NFTs, Africa's mandate.
Okay, NFT Africa. Our mission is really to create sustainable ecosystems which are using blockchain and NFTs in nature, and tie them to real world case studies, which can actually impact I think Africa per se, because NFTs in Europe have been totally different from how they've been received in Africa. So we're trying to bridge that gap and try and make them relevant to Africa.
Apart from these gorillas or these monkeys that are plastered as NFTs, what are NFTs? I mean, can you help us make sense out of them?
I think the best way I would say is, if you gave me a question, how would you use them in a business case? And then I would be able to answer that, because the definition is just jargon to most people. But what we've been able,
when you say non-fungible token, what do you mean?
So non-fungible means it is not the same. Fungibility as a word means that, like, your $1 or your one pula is equal to another pula. If I give you a pula, it's the same pula value to the other one. With NFTs, my NFT token might not be the same value or even have the same properties as another. So those monkeys you see are different, all of them. They are not of the same type. It's like saying, hey, I've got a BMW, and your BMW might be the same model as mine, but it might have more mileage. I might have put in more spoilers. I could have done something to it. So that would be two different NFTs.
And it's impossible to replicate or to duplicate that particular NFT once it's brought into existence.
Yes. What happens is, your wallet address is the key frame. So if you mint an NFT, which we will come back to later, but it will have your wallet address signature, and that is unique to the whole ecosystem. So nobody can fake that, because it's on the blockchain, and the blockchain, the way it's architects, it runs on what we call seed phrases and exchanges, and there's nodes and there's validators, and it's decentralized. So unless you own maybe more than 65% of the network, then you can control what happens to that network. But this is why we like Bitcoin, because it's decentralized and not one person controls the gateway.
The question which you rephrased for yourself was, how do I then use NFTs for practical application in Africa?
Yes.
Can you answer that question?
Yes. So the first one I think I tried out was using it for art. Art was a great gateway to use NFTs, because we were having a use case where artists were able to find new markets for their art, and by presenting your current art in a digital form, you were able to first prove proof of concept that is your art, and you are the first person to put it up. And secondly, you were able to reach an audience maybe before that was beyond you. So the NFT market is a global one, and buyers and collectors of art were swapping on people who had NFTs. So art would have been a good utility.
And exactly how do you generate it in the first place?
Well, it's up to the artist, really. People have this misconception that it's a bit difficult, but what we do is collaboration. It allows for collaboration.
No,
And-
suppose you have a piece of art, maybe look at something on the wall. How do I convert that to an NFT?
It's up to you how you would want it to present. Do you want a picture of it? Do you want an animation of it? And then you add utility. What does it mean to have or buy that piece of art? You would then say, okay, if you buy this art, maybe you will have an opportunity to be on your podcast. And you'd put that into the utility of that NFT and embed it in maybe an unlockable or a contract inside that NFT you've put up. You could put then maybe two of them, and then when one is bought, they are then scheduled to come to your podcast. That would be kind of the
one way of doing it.
And the art is the representation that it's yours, and it's unique.
At the beginning of the NFT craze, I saw a lot of celebrities making their own NFTs, but within 6 months to a year, everybody said, this thing it's not what they thought it was.
Well, look,
have you seen that trend?
Yes, I've seen that trend. What I wanted to align with is the difference between the NFT for an artist and using, let's say, YouTube. Let me give you a good example. If you made 10 NFTs and you were an artist, you wanted to sell those NFTs and they're your album, you could sell them for 10, let's say 10 pula. You would sell 10 of them and you would raise 100 pula. If you did the same with YouTube, it would take you maybe 1 million views to raise 10 that 100 pula. You see, so in terms of, and then you have exclusive, those people who bought your NFTs are exclusive. Maybe you could then have a platform where they can connect and use the NFT as a gated.
Mr. Phakama,
Yeah.
you're above me a little bit. I want you to help me here. You are a digital strategist.
Yes.
And one of the things you do as a digital strategist is to leverage automations. What does that mean?
Well, this is what I was coming into.
Yeah.
It's like you have a normal website. The utility of your website is people go there for information and so on and so on. Now with the Web3 using NFTs, you can use that NFT as a token to allow people to access specific areas of your website and access your merchandise or information, and you would know that is already been paid for because they've paid for the NFT.
Yeah.
So that's the automative part. NFTs come with what we call smart contracts, and these smart contracts live on the blockchain and execute automatically when these NFTs are identified.
Okay. What is the relationship between NFTs and blockchain? And explain it in simplistic terms.
I'm not sure how simple, but I'll try. Basically, if we had to put it as the internet, the internet would be the blockchain, and NFTs would be whatever you were doing on it, would be the application. So if you were maybe running WhatsApp would be an NFT driven application, and using the internet being the blockchain. I don't know if that is that's, I think maybe if people don't know how the internet works, it could be a bit different. So in a technical point of view, I'm going to try and dumb it down. The NFTs engine is blockchain. That's how they prove its trustability. That's how we transfer them. That's how we create them. They're created on a blockchain. If you know how the old internet works, you would then put blockchain would be the database end and the back end of the front end of whatever site you are seeing.
Yeah.
So the NFT part would be your password and how you interact with that whole ecosystem.
Now, you say there's immense potential for these technologies. Give a simple example.
One good example is fundraising for, let's say, NGOs or charitable organizations. Let's say you will go back to your picture idea. In the sale of your picture, you also included 20% to go to a charitable organization. In the smart contract, that would be already factored in. The charity would have a wallet address, and every time you sold your picture, that would automatically happen. So that would be the automation, where there'd be no individual having to do anything. Everything is automated and is going to be like happening automatically. So another case would be, let's say you wanted to maybe create a club, and this club needed membership. You would then issue out NFTs to the membership, and then that NFT would be your proof of ownership of membership. So you would then be able to use that to either get into the club, get club rebates or extra things from the club, and also even physical access to maybe the club's location. So you would even be using it for governance. So it allows people to use NFTs to be able to vote for motions, put up motions, and manage the community.
Okay.
Yes.
You've been operating in Botswana for how long now?
About 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And you've been here for about a year and a half in Mogobe Plaza. What is the business model? How do you interact with the public? A person comes in to NFT Africa. How do they engage with you? And what is the service you give them?
Okay. At the moment, what I'm giving them is I'm allowing them education to the blockchain, and allowing specifically, I targeted artists because I believe I'm an artist too. This is a very challenging area to be able to onboard to NFTs and understand how the blockchain can work for them as IP generation and also as income generation. Yes. So our first cohort, I believe, we raised money.
First cohort of artists.
Yes, of artists. We raised money to get them a device, to get them some crypto to mint onto NFTs, and also get them an internet router with 6 months worth of what do you call this, data. Yes, so that was done through an art sale. Yes.
Okay. Has the African market responded to this new area, and how so?
Yes, we have a very good African vibrant market on NFTs. Unfortunately, not all of it is visible because we don't own the technology. But the biggest area we have artists from is from Nigeria, from Kenya, and from South Africa.
Those are the behemoths.
The big hubs.
Yeah, the big hubs. Yes.
So they've been able to really put the flag on African art.
Okay. Can you do business with those hubs from Gaborone?
Yes.
How so?
Through the blockchain.
Okay.
Yes, we have a Discord community, we have a Twitter community, and we have auctions and Twitter spaces we hold where we showcase talent from across the continent.
Now, in terms of now moving to Ethereum, moving to Bitcoin, what does your company do in that space?
Okay, at the moment, I'm building what we call decentralized apps. And these are the front ends of the blockchain for the client, because people don't want to know how things are working. They just want it working. So we're building those front end interactions, the UI, basically, what the client is going to interact with their NFT. And then eventually the smart contract and all that is behind. The technology is not really seen, but we are just building so that we have a seamless interaction into the Web3 space like you would in Twitter and Facebook.
Okay. What is your relationship with the Satoshi Center?
I'm currently housed there. They are helping me with infrastructure and other connections, networks. We do a lot of conferences because we're new. So I've been involved in a few conferences, NFT NYC in New York and in London. So what I do is I try and put the plight of the African NFT market out there, which is like 1% of the global market.
Really?
Yes. And we try.
It's a big market.
It's a huge market. I mean, I believe when on the heyday, we had about 100 to 150 billion invested in Web3 NFT projects. So what people...
And that has since come down.
Yes, it has come down significantly, but there's still more value in Africa because we are way ahead of the West and America, funnily enough, in the NFT market. The only difference we have is our infrastructure in Africa.
You say when we're 1%, where is the rest? Where is the 99%?
The 99% is spread out, really.
But not in the West, you said?
No, it's India, it's Singapore, it's South Korea. You know, the guys who've really taken to technology is specifically India. India has their own blockchain, Matic, Polygon.
I've heard of it.
Yes, and it's being used by big companies to do the same similar things.
And you are using it?
Yes, I'm also using it. I use most of the blockchains. And I'm trying to identify the best ecosystem for Africa. So Matic is good because it's got low gas fees and it is not expensive as Ethereum.
Sometimes it feels as though you need rocket science to fully understand this. Do you need to be really, really brilliant?
I think at the end of the day, it goes back to what I tried to explain to my business partner at the beginning, how this works. It's a barter system. We're going back to the beginning. Apples and oranges. And you have a lot of oranges, I have apples. We need to exchange these two, and this is the ecosystem we now come back to, that we work in. So I would say Web3 is going back.
Digital bartering.
Yes, basically, yes.
Help me understand that why do you compare it to bartering?
Because these tokens are created by the individuals. So whatever you have a lot of, you need to trade with other people to be able to get anything else you need, and it becomes a barter system.
Does it lend itself to any business model, any business that you have? Can you have an NFT component? For instance, this podcast, of argument's sake, our property business, or for our, our law business, or the restaurants. In what way can you tinker with these businesses and position them for NFT type of trading?
I believe any business with a community can be tokenized. That's what we would say.
You call it, yeah.
Yes. So tokenizing real estate business is very easy. I believe it's been done, I think, in Uganda, where they tokenize all the way up to the title deed.
Really?
Yes. Where your title deed is already on blockchain, and you have a wallet address and
you scan them.
Yes. No, it will be more of a government initiative, where the government has a blockchain that they're working with, and that ecosystem is allowed to flourish throughout the business. So people will be interacting with.
So going back to real estate, because that's where I'm most active. How did it then work there?
So
how does it work in Uganda, for instance?
What they did was they tokenized the title deeds, because there was title deed theft and scams with land. So what they did was they put all their land onto the blockchain, where it was now impossible for you to recreate a different piece of...
Because you can only have one.
Yes, exactly. And then that was the way of tokenizing it. And then when a land sale, it was a dual system where they used the old and the new. You get a certificate which is digital with your actual title deed.
That's pretty impressive.
So now,
when did it start in Uganda?
It started, I believe, in 2000 and I think it was 2019. The project got initiated, and they've been rolling that out. Yes. So with that, there's also another dimension which I haven't talked about, which is the metaverse. And the metaverse is basically what you would call it, like Facebook is a metaverse, Twitter is a metaverse, but we're now talking about 3D metaverses which are fully immersive. And now those also have title deeds. You can buy land in these virtual lands and rent them out, or move your whole business there.
You can't exactly move your family there.
Well, that's the idea. The idea is I'm hoping to migrate my entireness into the metaverse, where I can exist fully in the metaverse and earn.
Will you have a dual identity?
This is what is going on at the moment. There's this thing we call digital identity, which is got blockchain as its major base. That's how you can get a digital identity.
Now, what is happening in Uganda? Can it be replicated?
I believe it can. It needs, I think, a lot of stakeholders to be together and in sync. In Saudi Arabia, they are actually putting blockchain as the major smart city kind of ecosystem. So if you're going to have a smart city, you're going to have anything with a smart in it, and it doesn't run on blockchain, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to be in the ecosystem. So I think it's inevitable. People might be even still using blockchain technology and they don't know.
Yeah, because sometimes the discussion just stops at scams and is never developed any further. What are you doing to overcome that lag, that resistance from the public that this thing is just scams? I'll tell you, for instance, in my in all my socials, I warn people, no crypto, no forex, because people have been using crypto, my image, to defraud people of their money, claiming that it's me who's involved in this. So this, in my view, has helped us say, that kind of attitude, we want nothing to do with that. So I just wonder what you people as practitioners in the space, you as a digital, you call yourself digital strategist, what you are doing to overcome this resistance.
Well, we're trying to educate people. We're trying to come out more on platforms like yours. We're trying to have exhibitions, especially art exhibitions we'll be having soon, which are NFT based. We're going to business stakeholders and asking them how they can educate specifically right now it's a niche market. So we will be targeting IT people. So if you've got IT people in your company, those are the guys we want to talk to first, not to say when we're excluding everybody else, but they will grasp it faster and be able to spread it in their companies a bit clearer to their CEOs, to their CTOs, and so on, to say, how do we leverage on this Web3 space while it's still early as Africa, because it will help us balance out some playing fields, definitely.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Now, you say you've implemented intelligent systems that handle tasks seamlessly. Can you give examples?
We had one, which was the auction I was talking about, where we had the art being sold to do good. That to do good. Say, NFTs for social good. This is what we call them. What we did was we had a team of people partner up with an NGO, and the NGO was based in the United States, called Leyline.
Leyline.
Yes. What they did was they gave crypto to people who did good. Whether you picked up litter and you posted a picture on Facebook that you did that, it would identify you and it would
do-gooder.
Yes, and then give you rewards for that. So much so that we've thought it can even be put into a smart city cleanup campaign where you have smart bins which give people rewards for recycling, for putting the correct litter in the right plastic, metal kind of a situation. So it can be used really for community engagement and rewarding citizens who are doing very well. Some kind of, the rewards can be eventually credited, maybe city council. It's really up to you if it's cash. But as long as there's a token system that can account and be transparent and be able to be both in interoperability to the city and to the financial system.
Okay.
Yes.
There's one question that I've always wondered about, which is this, that making Bitcoin or making crypto burns a lot of fuel or burns a lot of electricity. I've never understood that. How does that happen?
The ecosystem of Bitcoin was that in order to create it, you need resources. So the resources,
what kind of resources?
Well, in this case, it's electricity for your miner.
I don't understand any of that.
Okay, your Bitcoin miner is your validator. Basically, it's like a check and balance. We need to know that the Bitcoins in existence are really true, and by doing that, everybody, what we call in the ledger is a public ledger. So what happens is everybody can see everyone's transactions, and because
there's transparency.
Yeah, there's transparency. There needs to be people to validate that these transactions are true. And normally with Bitcoin, once you get 5 to 10 validators, then the Bitcoin is then allowed to be.
So where are they burning electricity now? Are they knocking onto the grid and spending sleepless nights typing it away, or what?
Well, what happens is you have to solve an algorithm. And that algorithm is very complex and needs a computer to process it. So that is where...
But with a certain level of processing power.
Yes. So
it has to be very advanced.
Not really. It started very low. But with Bitcoin's ecosystem, as Bitcoin gets older, it gets more complicated because I think after 2024, there will be no more new issuing of Bitcoin. So that's where this what we call proof of work came from, where you had to prove that you did work to get that reward of Bitcoin. That's
proof
how
of work as opposed to proof of stake.
Yes, proof of stake is now the new transition, which was the greener technology. So Ethereum did a fork, I think last year, where they transitioned out of proof of work to proof of stake. And most of the new blockchains have become proof of work, proof of communication. There's a whole lot of different ways that they've been able to then validate that these...
Because proof of work is not environmentally friendly.
No, it took up... I mean, China was the biggest... and I think Ukraine and everybody who had a power station was now mining Bitcoin instead of giving guys power. So it became very unpopular with the environmentalists. And there was a shift to go greener.
So with proof of stake, there are no algorithms to solve.
No, you stake.
What does that mean?
Meaning you basically put your money where your mouth is, and you put down. If you've got one Bitcoin, you put that one Bitcoin down as proof to be a validator.
Yeah,
and you don't take it out. And by you putting it down, you are then rewarded every time somebody's validated.
I don't know whether you are familiar with a guy called Warren Buffett.
Yes.
And his partner Munger. What's Munger's first name? That they say that in effect, blockchain and Bitcoin is the worst load of crock in the world. The argument is that as long as there's no tangible asset value to what they are doing, it's worthless. They say gold, you'll have a piece of gold. Real estate, you'll have, assets, hard assets. And then even in the stock market, you'll have companies and businesses that can produce an equivalent amount of the value that has been put to that. Whereas with blockchain, and particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's never an equivalence. So I think you can look it up on YouTube, that they'll just dismiss the whole thing.
Well, I don't know. I think what happened was speculation sometimes with every asset creates a bubble. And it has become that at one point or another, Bitcoin could have been a bubble and was not really equating to market forces. But I would say of late it's been stable. It's been one of the most stable assets.
Where is it now? What?
It's about 30.
30,000.
Yeah, about 30,000. Yeah, 30,000.
Remember, it was nearly 60, nearly 70.
Yeah, this was in 2021, and there was a lot of institutional money going into Bitcoin at the time, so it was highly inflated, and not to say it couldn't get to that level, but at the time, I believe it was a bit highly inflated.
Yeah.
So the Bitcoin in our crypto ecosystem is our digital gold. If you're a trader, most people are, they will trade all the other assets and store Bitcoin. That's your asset of last resort. And that is because the Bitcoin ecosystem, I don't think...
But there's nothing tangible.
No, it's not tangible, but as everything has become digital is not tangible either. We've got this digital money in the current ecosystem. And us staunch Bitcoiners and crypto guys would compare. There's nothing tangible in your physical money either, because it's just being printed.
They call it fiat.
Yeah,
it's
fiat.
just been printed.
Yeah, it's just being printed as paper. Yet Bitcoin has a ceiling. So we have a cutoff point where it's not being issued out anymore. And that is what I believe.
But the same cannot be said of other coins.
No, not all coins are the same. We've got altcoins, and we've got the
Alt
stable
for
coins.
alternative.
Yes, they're alternative. Then we have meme coins, the Doges and
The dogs.
the Doges, the one that got Elon very, very rich.
Yeah.
And
which one is that?
Pepe, a Doge, Dogecoin.
It went from what to what?
It went from, I think it was maybe 0.00001 cent to maybe it's
2 cents.
Yeah, 2 cents.
That's already a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it has those are speculative coins, but they have found utility. You know, and there's this thing we call DeFi, which is the critical part of, I think, the blockchain ecosystem, which I would simply put it as a digital stockfile.
Stockfile.
Yeah,
Stockfile.
yeah, it's a digital stockfile.
Yeah.
Where instead of having people, you have token holders.
Yeah.
Holding.
It's a bit like crowdfunding.
Yes,
bit like
basically it's a crowdfunding.
Motelo and
yes,
such one, yeah.
exactly. This is exactly what DeFi would be in any ecosystem, and it allows for very interesting ways of thinking about tech.
Yeah.
When you switch on or buy a router or you buy any device, you don't own that device outright, because you either have to pay DSTV for content or something of the sort, or you have to pay your internet service provider. So with DeFi, what it allows to, it can say, you buy this router, by you rolling out, let's say 5G in your area, you will earn rewards.
Yeah.
And that is the DeFi. Or you have a TV, and by you switching it on, it mints maybe some advert coin, and earns you. So you just having it on earns you money. This is now the shift we're coming with, to say this is no more just the usual consumerism where we just buy. These things must work for us also.
Yeah.
And I think that is the new economy that is coming.
They may be digital, but they have value.
Yes.
That's what you're arguing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the value is put in, I think, at inception, not after.
Yeah. Now, we talked briefly before we started the program about a big case in America involving XRP.
Yes.
XRP. Can you give us a little bit of a quick rundown on how XRP won?
Okay, XRP is one of the oldest coins. They are basically coming up with financial institutions on the fintech to allow people to transfer money seamlessly, and mostly they deal with banks. So you can see that if the banks were willing to use this technology, then I think it could be safe for everybody else. The only issue was the banks have policies, governance, and certain regulation that follow them. So the big case was deeming XRP a security. And because they don't have a securities license, then it would have been illegal on how they've been operating. So that was the case that the SEC brought forward to Ripple. And
if they are not security, the argument was they are what?
They're just it's a normal company. It's just a stock.
Okay.
Yes.
So and then the court found
that, well, it was a multi-case. I think there were 6-7 motions. In the biggest motion, they found them not to be a security because they were not dealing with the public. They are dealing with institutions.
And once they are not a security, it means the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, have no jurisdiction over them.
Yes. So unlike the other coins, which have been deemed security, and I think
because maybe they didn't fight hard enough, those others.
Well, I think this is going to be this judgment is going to take precedent over a few, but it's definitely the difference between the European system and the EU system, because the EU system had already deemed some coins securities in preempting to this because they didn't want everyone to just go hullabaloo. So it's a case by case basis. So you have to look at the coin in case
Why did that impact the market so much? I think it went up 70% in a space of 2-3 days.
Yes. I think you must know that from the previous slump, we've been down 60 or 70%. So this is
because of this case.
Yes, we've been correcting it. So this was a correction of the true values of some coins. So I believe it's a correction.
A lot of people disinvested. Do you think they're regretting now?
Well, I think those who disinvest, who took their money out, were not really true to the ecosystem. They were speculative buyers who were willing to pump and dump, and I don't think that causes a lot of instability in the crypto world. So after this market, we weeded out a lot of failed companies, FTX, Terra, all these companies which were shaky. So those that have proved the test of time and are still standing now show that they really have a use case.
Test of time, you mean about 15 years since this thing started?
Blockchain
has been around how long?
About the same time.
About 15 years or so.
Yes.
Now, you yourself as a company, are you investing or helping people invest in these coins, or is your focus entirely on NFTs?
As I had put it, I saw the ecosystem. I started as a trader. I'm actually very... I don't even know what the price of coins are because I'm invested in the ecosystem and how the actual coins, what we call the tokens, operate and how they will help companies circumvent a few challenges, whether it's tracing clients or building an ecosystem for artists, or it's identifying what do we call bad actors in financial transactions. So I would like to say crypto has actually more traceable and is highly regulated than most institutions. We have
because
KYC.
of the transparency
yes,
aspect.
We've been most institutions have to do KYC and anti-money laundering, which is the benchmark of any financial institution. And most crypto platforms have already implemented this.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned is that you use AI tools to augment the service or to deal. How does that work? How does AI help you?
Okay, well, AI, I think, has sped up tasks and has allowed us to streamline our workflow. So we use AI in the workflow for copy, and we also use it to analyze and give us correct analysis of what possibly could happen with the NFT project and stuff like that. AI has got multifaceted, so we also use AI to generate some of those assets. Right, so we have, as you said, those bored apes, those monkeys.
Yes.
They used AI to generate the 10,000 collection. So the guy probably drew only 5. And maybe not 5, maybe he drew 20. And from that 20, he was able to generate 10,000 different ones. And then make them
within a short space of time.
Yes. Well, no, it takes overnight. It depends how powerful your computer is.
Yeah.
But once you leave the program running, overnight, you will have your 10,000 collection.
Are you able to do that yourself?
Yes, we actually have a 10,000 collection we're about to launch.
Really?
Yes. So we've been holding it off because the market has been a bit spoofy, but that is also a service we provide. If you want to generate a community and you want NFTs generated, we can do that for you. Yes.
At this point, are there any significant barriers of entry, or is it open to come in?
Yeah, it's become very difficult at the moment, actually.
Why?
To be in the crypto space. Regulation has come to clean up, and in some cleanup they've kind of overstepped also, where they've kind of choked a bit of the creativity and the innovation. What we are always asking for is for innovation to be allowed to flourish. If we can be given special economic zones or allowed to operate and test our applications in a controlled manner would be most advantageous.
The regulation has come in because of the scams.
Yes, mostly because of the scams.
What regulation is in place currently in this regard?
In Botswana, we have MBFIRA, which has a regulation which regulates virtual assets, which you need a license to be able to buy and sell crypto assets.
To protect the public?
Yes, to protect the public, because there's been a lot of people who, as I said, I got scammed, just came up and say, hey, I've got a digital asset, buy it. And then there's no white paper, there's no due diligence, there's no governance. So I think they're believing they are going to help the industry by regulating that part.
You mentioned the white paper. For those who don't know, what role does the white paper play?
A white paper is normally issued out by prospective NFT projects, where they give you their rollout plan. So it's unlike
what sort of things go into that white paper?
You would have the founders, the purpose, the what you call it, the roadmap of the project, how many coins are going to be issued, who's going to issue them, what type of coins, which platform or which ecosystem, etherum, solana, whatever, are you going to be using?
So somebody has to review that white paper.
Yes, so normally it's reviewed by a coder, but what of late they've been doing is there's ChatGPT, so you can throw it in there and see if their smart contracts are actually doing what they say they're doing. Because that's the other thing. The scams are, you might jump into a project thinking it's doing one thing and it does another, and you lose your money.
Yeah, this is quite a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's a lot to process. In terms of Botswana as an ecosystem, at what point will you say this is good? At what point, what do you want to see happening for you to be satisfied that this ecosystem has evolved in this space?
Okay, I think the regulation was a good one. The implementation maybe not as much, but the regulation needed to be there because it was the Wild West at one point, and anything went. I think it still is, because you have to enforce the regulation, and I don't know if we have the infrastructure to do that, because it's a global infrastructure, and you need to train people how to analyze crypto transactions and so on and so on. So I think in that step that's fine. Then secondly, we have a lot of fintech products, which I believe we have a lot of unbanked and what I'm focusing, artists who need platforms to be able to sell their goods and services, and they just need an outlet which is not going to be third party related. So I think more innovation centers and more money can be put into establishing proper use cases.
Yeah. But
because it's not a cheap exercise at all. For myself, I believe I was helped because my business partner funded my company. I didn't need to do anything but this. And it was a very hard learning curve. Luckily, there was COVID, there was nowhere to go. But it took maybe about 6 months for me to get up to speed. With
this is concentrated study.
Yes, definitely. On a day-to-day basis. And there's always something new. And if you're not in the space, things change very dramatically. So what I pushed for was to create an African space which can be controlled by us and for us, which is the tagline. Because what we needed to do
are you saying that a uniquely African platform, even blockchain?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think we have an African blockchain.
I'm saying, is that what you are working on?
Yes, we're trying to go that direction, where we have nodes in Africa, validators in Africa, and we are able to even, come up with our own ecosystem to balance out. I mean, we have resources I think the one which would be most used these days is the diamonds. And if we can tokenize diamonds, which they have to some degree.
In which country?
I think
here in Botswana?
Yes, no, in the technology which runs verifications.
Oh, I see.
Yes, but if it was allowed for people to be able to tokenize,
you're talking about the Kimberley process.
Yes,
where they verify the sources.
That uses blockchain to some degree. Yes, because it could be a private blockchain, not a public one, but it's blockchain nevertheless.
This is quite interesting.
Yeah, so that's where we are. We are at the application layer, where we're using these blockchains to actually develop applications like you would Microsoft and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Suppose there's a young engineer or even just a graduate out there who's looking to at this space with confusion and with suspicion. What would you tell them in terms of whether this is a space that somebody could dip their toes into and start a career in?
Yes, I believe it's not a bad space. There's a lot of jobs in the space.
Such as?
There's a community manager, there's back-end developer, there's blockchain analyzer, there's also what we call a new field where you're a Web3 developer. So when you're developing in Web3, you use tools like React, .node. It's the same tools that you would use to do a normal website. The only difference is when you click, you are not clicking to the original database. You're now going to a Web3 space. That's the difference. So that's why I said on the surface, it looks the same. But underneath the engine is totally different.
So you're saying there are opportunities there?
Yes, there's great opportunities. And there's one which I think people haven't noticed. Every blockchain and the wallet address has a thing called a domain. If you want to own your domain, the same way you own your .co.bw, you can own your crypto domain, where your address becomes not that long code, but just a word.
Your name?
Yes, a company name or what do you call it?
And
your
if you are the
name.
first one to get that, that's yours forever.
That is actually being traded very heavily at the moment. They are actually, if you've got a short domain, they can go up to the $2,000.
Really?
Yes, currently. You should even check your name. I'm sure maybe
Somebody's
it hasn't been taken it. But
Yeah.
this is what's been happening in South Africa. The advertising agencies there, which are very clever, have been buying up all the domains. And by the time these guys realize that, but normally the domain, the advertising agencies which are buying them have the contract with that same company, so they are going to sell it as a going concern to their clients. But this is not being realized all over the place. So
you have to be an industry player.
yes, so that's just one industry which has come up from nowhere. In the Web3 space, having a Web3 domain. I have one too. Mine's DAO.eth.
Oh,
yeah. So you can.
How do you register the domain?
It's on ENS.
What does that mean?
ENS is a website which you register, like your domain server.
Is it expensive to register?
No, it's about, you're looking at maybe $5 to $10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this NFT space or the digital blockchain space likely to create millionaires and billionaires in Africa?
It has already. Yes.
Tell me about that.
We had a case where we had one of, I believe he's a Nigerian artist. He was early in the NFT space and was able to sell some pieces on Christie's, on auction. He was one of the first. I think he did come to visit here during one of those Forbes
under 30.
Yeah, I think
you mean the singer?
Not the singer. Last year, he was an NFT artist.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I've forgotten his name. It's Songo something
like that.
Yes, but he's done very well in the NFT space and has allowed has opened many gateways for the NFT African artists.
How did he do it? What was his game plan? I want to understand.
I believe, as I was saying, it was a niche market. And most of the people who went ahead were not based in Africa, but were African, but were able to come back to Africa and implement it in the way they saw fit in their country. So he was able to do that in Nigeria. And that was, I think, the best thing we were all trying to do in our countries. And sometimes being polarized, when it came to Botswana, it was a good place for business, but nobody understood what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So in Nigeria, I think there were more people who are outside Nigeria who were able
understood.
to. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So there was not a lot of.
It's a bigger market as well.
Yes, a very big market. So that's why Kenya and Nigeria and South Africa are very key places for NFT art specifically. Yes.
And I was asking about millionaires and billionaires, which is what youngsters want. They want to know really if there's vast amounts of money to be made in this field, locally and regionally. What would you say?
Unfortunately, what I would say is the African market is not ripe, specifically not because of the NFT market itself, but what the NFTs have done is they have replicated global influences, trends, yes, where Africans don't buy art themselves. So the millionaires who are in Africa, they don't buy art from Africans. And when we do have a case where we have one big millionaire and he's the one who has to buy all this NFT art in Africa, and it becomes,
unsustainable.
Yeah, exactly, unsustainable. Unlike in the West, where it's a collaborative issue.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to bring in with the NFTs. It allows people to collaborate together and still have a share and be equally compensated without having a problem with the art sphere. So we can collaborate as an artist, as a music artist, as a visual artist, as a poet, and different spheres, and we make one kind of project, and then that project we all benefit from it because of our various spheres.
So going beyond NFTs, then talking crypto in general, and other Bitcoin, crypto. Is there potential for wealth creation there? I'm talking about serious wealth creation.
I think what we kind of missed an opportunity earlier on with Bitcoin. If we as Africans had, I think if you see the stats, the biggest countries holding crypto, most of them are in Africa.
Really?
Yes. I'll send you the table.
So what does that mean? That we missed an opportunity?
We
bought late.
Yes, but in terms of the number of people who are actually holding, we are unbanked. Not a lot of people could have bought crypto because they didn't have a bank account to be able to buy crypto from in the first place. And those barriers, some countries have banned crypto altogether and banned
in Africa.
Yes,
which one?
We've got Zimbabwe. We've got Nigeria banned it at one point.
Because they've unbanned it.
Yeah,
now.
they've been flip flopping. I actually think there's maybe half of the countries don't even have crypto regulation. So it's like
Wild West.
Yes, the Wild West. Meanwhile, this is a peer-to-peer kind of technology which has no borders.
Yeah.
So if Africans had adopted it and we used it to trade, then we would have leverage over other people coming in later on.
Yeah. And what has been the government's response here in Botswana?
It's a bit mute. They've thrown a bit of regulation, but at the same time, I think they've come hard at transactions.
In what sense?
In terms of bank transactions, being able to transfer your money off exchanges which are not based in Botswana. It was easier but now it's a bit it's rather difficult. You have to
fill a lot of forms.
Yes, a lot of forms. You have to find the correct platform to use. I think the only company which I think it's in Africa that has been regulated is Yellow Card, and
they used to be operating from up.
They
I don't know why they've moved.
I guess they've grown.
They
don't need to be incubated now. But they are now the prime use case of all African countries to try and regulate. They kind of have different regulations as a hybrid. South Africa actually doesn't regulate until you get to a certain level. So here you have to have a license to a virtual, I think it's a virtual asset service provider license to be able to sell to the public. I don't believe NFTs are in that regulation. It's
not yet.
No, they're not. So NFTs are still a gray area because I believe we haven't gone around to that.
Can you solve this mystery for us? Who is Satoshi and where is he hiding?
I believe he's in Botswana.
You're serious? But some people may not even know the background. Can you just share with them about Satoshi?
Okay, Satoshi is a name which was used in forums to release the Bitcoin white paper and sensitize people to the ecosystem. You needed at least somebody to tell us how to get onto Bitcoin and stuff, and that was the name used in the forums.
He's got a first name, isn't it? What is
and it's Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is that?
Well,
surely there's a name, somebody by that name.
There is somebody they found by that name, but I don't think he was the one. They've been researching. They found.
What did he say?
A Japanese guy. Yeah, he pretended that he knows something, but it was a pseudonym used in the forum. We really don't know the true originator of
because in some sites they say that there's the founder of Bitcoin.
Yes, he is the founder of Bitcoin. But it could have been a group of people, I believe. It wasn't one person.
So it remains a mystery.
Yes, it remains a mystery. Yes.
Okay.
Which is sad because he's holding, I think, almost, I think, is it 3 million Bitcoins in that account? Which
means they're worth how much?
They could be worth billions at the moment. I think
that's 80,000. You have to calculate that.
About 60 billion or something.
It's an incredible
amount. So you can just see how value is created. What I would like to add is that with NFTs, utility is created by the owner of the NFT, and it's about putting the utility and adding value, like you would add value to your product.
I'll tell you this, in my country they believe too much in proof of concept and traction. Until and unless you bring somebody who has actually done it and has succeeded at it, people will remain a bit skeptical and confused. That's what I think.
Yes.
You don't agree?
To some degree. I think you have to be successful at it. Some things are underground, and there's a community which is very difficult to try and monetize or put a value to it. To say I've invested this much of time, and I must be given this much for my knowledge. So I guess what we then are trying to translate is that value. To say, okay, if we can make proper use cases which help the community.
So when you say community, there are vast WhatsApp groups, isn't it, which are active in the space?
Yes.
It's quite a number.
It's WhatsApp. It's Discord. I don't know if you know Discord.
No, I'm hearing about it. Yes,
Discord is the main tokenizing platform that we use as NFTs because it can verify automatically if you are a holder of that NFT. It's like having a WhatsApp that is verifying if you actually
are the one.
So that's what Discord allows us to do. So it has become the community building tool of so you would find many.
So you're obviously an integral part of it now.
Yes. Many communities. I joined early. There's the Afropolitan community. There's an African NFT community. There's Nigerian NFT community. There's Kenyan NFT community. So it is vast. As I was saying, it's a bit sad that because we had this knowledge and we were able to maneuver in Botswana, we weren't able to capitalize and have a more vibrant NFT community here.
Yeah,
because I think it was.
But it's relatively early. This is a new technology.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Now, what is your outlook for the future? If we're talking a couple of decades, what do you see for NFT Africa? What do you see for even your brand as Phakama? You know that you're a brand, Mr. Sibanda. Yes. What do you see? What does the future tell you?
As a brand, I want to get more awareness out there about these key technologies. I want us to be able to. My tagline is to innovate and to develop and educate, and those are the 3 pillars which I'm trying to grow, and I'm hoping to have nodes across Africa, which will be able to replicate what I'm doing here at the Satoshi Center.
This is great stuff. So in 2 decades, we can expect a number of NFT Africa outlets throughout the continent, or?
No, definitely. I would say even less.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, the space is growing fast. What would have taken a decade to do because of crypto and technology is going to take you maybe 4 to 5 years. So why I was saying Africa is ahead is because we are knowledgeable of digital money, and the West still have the old legacy banking system. They don't have orange money. They don't have M-Pesas. They don't have eco cashes. That is basically a Web3 gateway. So once you understand how to use that technology, then Web3 shouldn't be too far away, because you already understand.
So we can theoretically even leapfrog the West.
That's exactly
jump over them.
That's exactly what we.
If we can catch on.
Yes, that's exactly what we the word we used to try and get more people. We want to leapfrog and get more people onto Web3, so that by the time everyone catches up, Africa is ahead in the Web3 space.
Yeah. So are there an organization where you practitioners in the field get together, strategize, and compare notes?
Yes. This is the conferences we go to. There's Bitcoin Africa in Cape Town. Unfortunately, they are about and about. So what has been really challenging for me was to raise enough money to be able to participate in these places. The first one where I got invited as a speaker to talk about Africa and crypto back in 2021 was NFT NYC. They're the biggest NFT conference in
New York City.
Yes, in New York City. So we had, I think, all the biggest NFT projects. They come, they host there. We've got all the Web3 experts in all fields. They come there, and it is just a melting point, a part of Web3, and so on. So I hope one day we will have an NFT Gaborone or Botswana conference, and we will be able to call these expertise down to Botswana to be able to really showcase what we have. I think because it aligns with what Botswana is trying to do in the digital space to become a knowledge economy. Yes. And if you're trying to become a knowledge economy, you need smart cities. You need these IoT.
We need to be ahead in this area.
Yes. So
we need more youngsters getting involved.
Exactly. So this is why I say we're trying to get more people on board.
So on the education space, do you actually offer training or mentorship here?
We're going to be beginning to do that.
Yeah.
We were just trying to establish what exactly the framework we want to do. Starting with the artists, then moving on to educating corporates, then moving on to educating NGOs and the government on how to best utilize the Web3 space.
Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Now you get to ask me a question if you have one.
Okay, I think you actually did ask it in reverse. So the idea would be, would you tokenize your business?
I have a cop-out answer to that. I have a couple of guys who are helping me, youngsters. One is my son who wants to get into technology, just finished psychology. His name is Otlaha. I want him to listen to this interview and advise me how we can do that. And then we also have a whole team, our marketing team. The youngsters, my view is that they catch on quicker. So once they understand how it works, I would seriously consider it. At this point, I can't say I will, but I'll seriously consider it. Much more than before this interview. Yeah, this interview has enlightened me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
I've been enlightened also by everything that you've asked me. So.
Thank you.
All right.
Now look at that camera as we wrap up and leave the viewer with a party message, motivation, inspirational, anything you want to say as we wrap up.
Well, I believe all the tools are available, and currently everything's possible. It's up to you to put your mind to it and persevere and meet the right people in your ecosystem and build the future for yourself.
Sounds great. Great. Can you give them all your contact details, including the physical address?
Okay. My starting from my phone number is 71458. Twitter address is PN Sibanda on all social networks, and my web address is NFTAfrica.com, and I'm based here at Mogobe Plaza at CBD.
That's third floor?
The third floor, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. There's no WhatsApp or landline?
That's the same number.
Okay,
yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You've done a good job.
Thank you very much.
Done a good job. Thank you.